Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but somehow it still doesn't feel like enough? Like there's this invisible rule book no one gave you and you're just guessing your way through it? Before we get into this, if you're someone who actually wants to understand women on a deeper level, not just surface level tips, then you'll probably find this really useful. So go ahead, like the video and subscribe, not for me, but for the kind of man you're becoming. Let's talk honestly. Most men are told that women are complicated, that they're confusing, emotional, hard to understand. But the truth is, women aren't as complicated as you've been led to believe. What is complicated is that many of the things women want, they don't say directly. And no, it's not because they're trying to play games. It's usually because those desires are emotional, subtle, and honestly, a little vulnerable to admit out loud. So instead of saying them, they feel them, and they notice whether you naturally do these things or not. And that's where everything shifts. Because attraction isn't just about looks, money, or status. It's about how a woman feels around you. The emotional experience you create, often without even realizing it. There are certain behaviors, small, almost invisible things, that instantly make a man stand out. Not in a loud, attention-seeking way, but in a quiet, deeply attractive way. The kind of man a woman feels safe with, drawn to, curious about. And here's the part most men miss. These aren't things you learn by memorizing lines or techniques. They're about awareness, presence, emotional intelligence. They're about understanding what's happening beneath the surface. Because when a woman says, "I don't know, I just like being around him," what she really means is, he's doing certain things right, even if she can't fully explain them. And once you understand those things, you stop chasing approval and start creating genuine connection. In this video, I'm going to share some of those secret things women want men to do, the ones they rarely say out loud but always feel. Some of them might challenge what you've been told. Some might make you rethink your past relationships. That's okay, because this isn't about becoming someone fake or scripted. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally understands emotional dynamics, without overthinking every move. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with something simple, but surprisingly rare. One of the secret things women want is for you to actually listen to them. And I don't mean just staying quiet while she talks. I mean really listening, like you're trying to understand her, not just waiting for your turn to respond. A lot of men think they're good listeners because they don't interrupt, but in reality, their mind is somewhere else. They're already forming a reply, thinking of advice, or trying to fix the situation. And here's the thing. Most of the time, she's not looking for a solution. She's looking to feel heard. There's a big difference. When a woman opens up about her day, her stress, or something that's bothering her, she's inviting you into her inner world. That's not something small. That's trust. And when you respond too quickly with logic or advice, it can feel, on her side, like you skipped over the emotion completely. It's like she's saying, "This is how I feel," and you're replying, "Here's how to solve it." But what she actually needs in that moment is something more human. Something like, "That sounds frustrating. I get why that would bother you." See how different that feels? You're not trying to fix her. You're meeting her where she is. And ironically, when a woman feels deeply understood, she becomes more open to your perspective later. But if she feels dismissed or rushed, she'll close off, even if you had good intentions. Now, this doesn't mean you should never give advice. Of course, there are moments when she wants your input. But the key is knowing the difference. And the easiest way to do that? Just ask. Something as simple as, "Do you want me to just listen or help you figure it out?" can completely change the dynamic. It shows emotional awareness. It shows respect. And honestly, it puts you ahead of most men without you having to try too hard. Because here's the deeper truth. When a woman feels safe expressing herself without being judged, corrected, or minimized, she starts associating that feeling with you. You become someone she relaxes around, someone she trusts. And trust is the foundation of attraction that actually lasts. Anyone can impress in the beginning, anyone can say the right things. But very few people make someone feel truly understood. That's why this matters more than you might think. It's not just about communication, it's about emotional connection. And once that connection is there, everything else becomes easier. Another thing women want, but almost never say directly, is consistency. Not intensity, not grand gestures, not one amazing day followed by confusion. Consistency. A lot of men make a strong impression in the beginning. They show up, they put in effort, they're attentive, present, engaging. And then, slowly, that energy fades. Texts become shorter, plans become less certain. The attention that once felt natural starts to feel occasional. And this is where something important happens on her side. She starts questioning the connection, not always out loud, but internally. She begins to wonder, was that real? Or was it just temporary? Because for a woman, emotional safety isn't built on big moments, it's built on patterns. It's not about how high you can take her emotionally, it's about how steady you are over time. And this is where many men unintentionally create confusion. They think attraction is about keeping things exciting, unpredictable, a little mysterious. And yes, a little unpredictability can be fun. But inconsistency, that creates anxiety, not attraction. There's a difference between being interesting and being unreliable. When your behavior is inconsistent, she can't relax into the connection. She stays slightly guarded even if she likes you. But when you're consistent, when your words, actions, and energy align over time, you create something much deeper. You create trust. And trust isn't loud. It doesn't come with fireworks. It feels calm, stable, certain. It's knowing that if you say you'll call, you call. If you make a plan, you follow through. If you show interest, it doesn't disappear the next day. Simple things, but surprisingly rare. And here's what most men don't realize. Consistency doesn't make you boring, it makes you secure. And security is attractive in a way that doesn't fade quickly. It builds something real. Think about it like this. Anyone can create excitement for a moment, but not everyone can create a sense of peace. And the man who can do both, who brings energy and stability, is the one a woman feels safe investing in. Because she doesn't have to keep guessing where she stands with him. She can feel it. And that feeling is powerful. It allows her to open up more, invest more, and connect on a deeper level without fear of things suddenly changing. So if you've ever felt like things started strong but then slowly lost momentum, this might be why. Not because you weren't good enough, but because consistency quietly matters more than most people admit. And once you understand that, your presence starts to feel different to her without you needing to say a word. Another thing women quietly want is for you to take the lead without being controlling. This is where a lot of men get confused. They either become too passive, waiting for her to decide everything, or they swing the other way and try to dominate every situation. Neither one feels good. What actually stands out is something in the middle, calm leadership. It's not about telling her what to do, it's about showing direction, without pressure. For example, instead of saying, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" every time you talk, you might say, "Let's grab coffee this weekend, I know a good place." Simple, clear, no overthinking. And here's why this matters more than it seems. When you take initiative, you remove uncertainty, you create structure, you show that you're capable of making decisions. That doesn't make you controlling, it makes you reliable. And reliability feels safe. A lot of women won't say this directly, but constantly having to make decisions, especially in the early stages, can feel mentally draining. Not because she can't do it, but because she wants to feel that you can. It's less about the decision itself and more about what it represents. Confidence, presence, a sense that you're grounded enough to handle things without needing constant reassurance. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring her preferences. A man who leads well also listens. He pays attention to what she likes, what she enjoys, what makes her comfortable, and then he uses that information to guide the experience. That's what makes it feel thoughtful instead of controlling. It's like saying, "I've been paying attention to you and I've got this." And that feeling is incredibly attractive because it allows her to relax. She doesn't feel like she has to manage everything, plan everything, or carry the interaction forward. She can just be present. And when a woman feels that kind of ease around you, she naturally opens up more. She laughs more, she engages more, she invests more. Not because you forced anything, but because you created an environment where she feels comfortable letting go a little. And here's something important to understand. Taking the lead doesn't mean being perfect. You don't need to plan something elaborate or impressive every time. Even small decisions, like choosing a place, suggesting a time, or moving the conversation forward, create that sense of direction. It shows that you're not waiting for permission to exist in the moment. You're participating in it. And that's what separates a man who feels uncertain from a man who feels grounded. So if you've ever noticed a woman losing interest without a clear reason, sometimes it's not about what you said or didn't say, it's about the energy. And passive energy, over time, starts to feel disconnected. But when you bring calm, steady leadership into the interaction, everything starts to flow more naturally, without pressure, without force, just clarity. Another thing women want, but rarely explain clearly, is emotional honesty. Not oversharing, not dramatic vulnerability 5 minutes after meeting, but real, grounded honesty about what you feel and where you stand. A lot of men hold back here. They think showing emotion will make them look weak, or that they need to stay slightly distant to keep attraction alive. So they keep things vague. They joke around serious moments. They avoid saying what they actually feel. And in the beginning, that can seem fine. But over time, it creates distance. Because when a woman can't read you, when she doesn't know if you're genuinely interested or just going with the flow, she starts to pull back emotionally. Not because she doesn't like you, but because she doesn't feel safe investing more. Here's the truth most people don't say out loud. Clarity is attractive. When you can say something simple like, "I enjoy spending time with you," or "I'd like to see where this goes," it removes a lot of unnecessary confusion. It doesn't mean you're locking anything in or rushing the connection. It just means you're being real. And being real is rare. Now, emotional honesty also shows up in smaller ways, like admitting when you've had a stressful day instead of pretending everything is perfect. Or saying, "That actually bothered me," instead of letting things build up quietly. It's not about turning every moment into a deep conversation. It's about not hiding behind a mask. Because when you're always composed, always neutral, always fine, it can feel like there's a wall there. And walls don't create connection. Presence does. Authenticity does. When a woman senses that you're comfortable being honest, without overdoing it, without making it heavy, it gives her permission to be open too. And that's when things shift from surface-level interaction to something more meaningful. Now, this doesn't mean you share everything all the time. Timing matters, emotional awareness matters, but avoiding honesty completely? That slowly disconnects the relationship. Because she's not just connecting to what you say or do, she's connecting to who you are underneath it. And if that part feels hidden, guarded, or unclear, she won't fully lean in. But when you're honest in a calm, grounded way, it creates something different. It creates trust. Not the kind built on big promises, but the kind built on consistency between your words and your reality. And once that's there, you don't have to try as hard to impress, because you're no longer performing, you're just showing up as yourself. And that's what makes it feel real. The last thing, and this one is subtle but powerful, is presence. Real presence. Not just physically being there, but actually being there with her. No distractions, no half attention, no checking your phone every few minutes while she's talking. Because here's something most people underestimate. Attention is emotional currency. And when you give someone your full attention, you're quietly telling them, "You matter right now." That hits deeper than compliments, deeper than trying to impress. But when your attention is divided, even slightly, it creates a feeling she may not even consciously recognize at first. It feels like something is missing, like you're there but not fully with her. And over time, that feeling adds up. Now, presence isn't about staring intensely or trying too hard to focus. It's actually very simple. It's listening without rushing. It's noticing small things, like changes in her tone, her mood, her energy. It's responding to her, not just to the situation. For example, if she seems a little quieter than usual, instead of ignoring it or pushing forward, you might say, "You seem a bit off today. Everything okay?" That shows awareness. And awareness is deeply attractive because it makes her feel seen. Not in a surface way, but in a real, human way. And when a woman feels seen, she relaxes. She drops the need to perform, impress, or hold back parts of herself. She becomes more natural, more open, more connected. Now here's the part most men don't realize. Presence can't be faked. You can't just pretend to listen while your mind is somewhere else. She'll feel the difference. That's why this isn't about techniques. It's about slowing down enough to actually experience the moment you're in. Because when you're constantly thinking ahead, what to say next, how to act, what impression you're making, you disconnect from the present. And ironically, that's what makes interactions feel forced. But when you're grounded, when you're actually there, things flow differently. Conversations feel easier, silences feel comfortable. You don't feel the need to fill every gap, and that calm energy is magnetic because it's rare. Most people today are distracted, rushed, mentally somewhere else. So when someone shows up with real presence, it stands out immediately. Not in a loud way, but in a way that feels different. And that difference is what creates lasting attraction. Not tricks, not lines, not strategies, just awareness, consistency, honesty, leadership, and presence. Simple things, but when you truly understand them, they change everything.